What's up, y'all? It's Jeff Cobb, and you're listening to Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show on Social Suplex Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Listener discretion is advised at all times.
Hello and thank you once again for downloading another episode of the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, part of the Social Suplex Podcast Network and in association with Manscaped.com, the kings of groom the balls. That's the only way I can really put it. Welcome, I am Clive and my co-host is with me as usual. Ricky, hello sir.
Good evening. I've received my box from Manscaped as well. Yet to use it. Yet to post the before and after photo, but I will do that shortly.
I'll be honest, I'm a bit scared.
Why?
I'm just a bit apprehensive of getting down there and doing some Edward Scissorhands work on my pubic region.
I'm not needed to use it as yet because I do it every week.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let it grow a little bit for my before photo.
Jesus.
And then show the 8-week transformation. Progress pics.
Right, and someone who's already got one apparently last week, Barry, welcome back.
Hello, and thanks for having me back, guys. It's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure doing business with you both. So, as hinted at on Twitter a couple of days ago, we're going to have a wee bit of fun for the next few weeks. This idea came from a couple of inspirations. So before we are suspected of plagiarism and all that stuff, want to just sort of give a shout out to people who originally came up with similar ideas. Shout out to Rance Morris for this one, who around WrestleMania time in our wee sort of Outsiders Edge chat group thing said, what's the best ever WrestleMania card? So that's what spawned part of it, and also the good old Badlands pod with Mags and Paul, where they sort of do a round robin of picks that people like and all that stuff. Check both of those podcasts out. They're on the Chair Shot Radio Network. What we are doing for the next few weeks is the three of us, Ricky, Barry and myself, we are going to concoct the best fantasy pay-per-view ever, and that we will go through. So this week in the hot seat is Ricky, and Ricky is going to give us his best pay-per-view ever based on matches that have already happened. So you're talking WWE title, the secondary world title, IC, US title, tag titles, women title, blood feud and star attraction match. I believe I got them all there, correct?
Yep, all eight.
Yep, all eight. So it's going to be a star-studded talk of the best wrestling matches in our opinion ever. The only rule is that you cannot use the same wrestler more than once. So once you start, if you're going to play this at home, it does actually get quite difficult towards the end when you realise, hold on, I've already picked Jean-Pierre Lafitte in another match, so I can't use him again. What we're going to do at the end of this 3 weeks is at the end of the 3 weeks we're going to do a poll on Twitter and see which ones you like the best, which pay-per-views you think are the best. So what I'd ask you, the listener, to do is, if you could like and retweet each episode as you listen, your name will automatically be added to the tag list when the poll goes out, so you'll know instantly when the poll's up. So like and retweet that when you can. Get a wee bit of traffic going our way, put some money in our pockets with Manscaped and t-shirts and donations and all that shit. So I think I've said all I need to say. We will probably later on down the line do a cheeky wee best ever takeover as well in a similar format, but we're going to be just concentrating on the main roster stuff just now. So Ricky, the floor is yours. Enjoy telling us how great your pay-per-view is.
Thank you. I feel very confident in this pay-per-view. I already know without speaking to these people, I have 2 people that I know are going to vote for me. I know that for a fact.
Right.
Caleb being one, and I believe Josh would be another one.
Okay.
Anyway, so and just to add, so it's WWE only because if you're including every single promotion, it's not much of a game. It's too easy then. So, and obviously we can't exactly focus on the New Japan product because we're stepping on the toes of someone else, and then AEW we're stepping on someone else's toes in the network. So, right, I'm going to just my camera's going to go on and off because I need to skip between listening and notes that I've written down.
Are you going to do it in the pay-per-view order that you wish it to be?
Well, I was going to touch on that. So I have decided on my opening match and my closing match. And then basically none of this bullshit that we need to kind of bring the crowd down a little bit and give them like a toilet break, or how that second last match of the card, it's like, right, let everyone kind of calm down and come back down a little before we take them on another ride. Now, fuck that. I've adopted the New Japan Pro Wrestling product concept. Banger after banger after banger. It's just going to be like 7 hours of pure great wrestling. And for me, the way I decided on my matches was I went, obviously, as you say, once you start picking people, it narrows down certain matches, but I had to get certain people in and I had to get certain matches in purely because I enjoy those matches, not necessarily, and one of them will probably raise some eyebrows, not necessarily because it was a great match, it just kind of stands out in my childhood memory. And then so it's a combination of like some of the great matches that I personally think, along with just matches that I enjoyed. So to open my pay-per-view,
have you got a name for your pay-per-view?
Yes, the pay-per-view is called Ricky's Perfect 10. Perfect 8, sorry, Perfect 8.
Oh, Jesus.
Right, this was difficult, if I'm honest, but I decided to go with opening up with my tag title match. Hell in a Cell, New Day versus the Usos.
Oh.
I know, like you says, we'll talk about the matches and the builds and etc. I don't, like, everyone knows, like, that was like 2 or 3 in a row that they had. It was just like, wow, they're great matches. And for me, the Hell in a Cell stood out. Maybe because it was the extra carnage or whatnot, but it was just, that match was, for me, was the best of the ones that they had. And for me, whenever you talk about the New Day or the Usos, you have to talk about the other team. Quickly, I had a couple of matches that I considered for it. For me, the New Day versus the Usos versus Kalisto and Sin Cara from TLC.
Oh, God, aye.
That's the one where one of the Usos died, if you remember.
Quite emphatically as well.
Yes. Also, sorry, I forgot to say, all of the matches that we're picking, have to have happened on pay-per-views. No TV matches are allowed.
Yep.
Which, and I'm not sure if any of you have seen this, and this is where I know I'm going to be tugging at someone like Josh's heartstrings, and probably Rance as well. There was a Sunday night show that used to call Action Zone, probably the equivalent of Sunday Night Heat, I guess, in '94, and you had HBK and Diesel versus 1-2-3 Kid and Razor Ramon. That's the match I wanted to go with, but I couldn't because it wasn't a pay-per-view. So if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. Like, I watched a number of these matches again, and I watched that one again. That was on Daily Motion, I think it was, and I really wanted to pick that match, but again, I couldn't, which was kind of disappointing. So that is my opening match of my pay-per-view.
What are your thoughts on that one, Barry?
That's a great start, actually. Doing a wee tag team title plus a speciality match all in the one, actually. So I like it. But they had very, very solid storylines and matches over the years, but that was probably one of my favourites for them, to be honest with you. So great choice. I've never heard of that Action Zone before, actually. I'm surprised at that because I watched obviously back then as well. So
I'm sure it was either 93 or 94. I want to say it was 94.
It must have been a like American thing, probably. It wasn't over here at that point.
No, like, I didn't watch it like back then. Back then we were only like 7 or 8. But yeah, I saw it a couple of times, and that popped into my head when I was thinking about it, and I was praying. I was like, I really hope this was some obscure pay-per-view that maybe we've not saw before or not really heard much of, but I kind of had a feeling that it wasn't. And
did you know what's
correct? No, I'm saying like that match. Like I probably didn't watch back then. That match.
Oh, right.
I've watched wrestling since we were like 5 or whatever. But that match,
same.
like I wouldn't have. I know I probably wouldn't have watched that match back then. It's probably, like I say, it must have been like about 10 years ago. So when I probably saw that match for the first time.
No, I didn't know about that. So it's interesting. I'll have to
it's a good match.
The thing that I really did, I've still not picked my tag team match yet because there's a couple that are up there with it, but that tag match specifically was a bit of a belter. As you say, they did have a good series of matches over that spring and summer. Tucked away on the pre-show of SummerSlam that year was an outstanding match between the two of them. And then it just sort of culminated and it became a blood feud, but at the same time there was respect in that blood feud between the two, so it was an interesting dynamic. And you saw later on the respect was given back from the Usos when Kofi Kingston and the New Day were doing their Gauntlet series of stuff last year, and the Usos were like, fuck it, we're taking an L for this one for you guys, because of matches like they had with the Hell in a Cell and all that. Very advocate for the candlesticks.
I actually watched that as I was like, because I wanted to make sure I got the pay-per-view correct for the Hell in a Cell, and that was in like just in the search bit, and I just happened to watch it again. I was like, kind of almost forgot about that moment.
It's a belter. I'm a bit jealous, but I mean, there's nothing to say we can't pick. If we do pick the exact same pay-per-view, then we're in trouble. But happy with your picks, sir?
Right. So the next match, I say, I'm just kind of going to try and wing it as I go along. Like I say, there's no real setup, but I say I know my first and I probably know my second last match, and I really want to keep that one. So next up, I'm going to go with my Star Attraction match, and I'm going with Triple H and Stephanie versus Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey.
So before, just to sort of clarify, a Star Attraction, to describe that, we've kind of given it with what Ricky was saying there about the Star Attraction. You've got sort of all the public's eyes are on it. It's a big deal. It gets the press and all that stuff, so that's a good shout. That's basically described it in one. Sorry, continue. Yeah, so it says, for me, it's once you start whittling down the people we are losing, it kind of, you don't have many options. And I had to get Kurt Angle in the match, and I know this isn't like the great Kurt Angle we remember, but for me, the reason why I class it as a Star Attraction is, first of all, Ronda Rousey's debut, Kurt Angle's return, and no matter what we kind of say, Triple H still wrestling like once a year or once every couple of years is still what they would class as a Star Attraction. Stephanie, we don't expect anything of her, but she certainly didn't. She didn't deter from it. She didn't take anything away from it. You know, she'd done what she had to do, so she played her part in the sense of what you probably wanted her to do. Ronda Rousey, I thought, looked great. Some great moments. The crowd were on fucking fire at times. Like I thought it was, for me, what I'm looking for in like this kind of Star Attraction match. I'm looking for like something to energise the crowd, something to engage the crowd, and for me that was engaging. And I felt like the entire crowd really, really enjoyed that match. If anything, it was arguably one of the top 2 or 3 matches of that WrestleMania, probably. It was just a real fun match, and that's where I'm trying to blend it, because I think now you're now not going to get what you would class as like brawls, and bar maybe one match, like brawls, like every single match you're now going to hear in my pay-per-view ties in to what I've always says about my opinions on wrestling. Give me the greatest in-ring product you can ever give me, and I couldn't care less about anything else. And the rest of my card is probably going to represent that quite well, I think. What I like about the placement you've done with that one is you're not looking for these death spot matches, but at the same time, after a match like the New Day Usos Hell in a Cell, you'll be looking to catch your breath, or you'd be sort of scunnered and just wiped out after quite a grueling affair. But to have something as this, which was just sports entertainment with a capital S and capital E, big marquee signing with Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle returning to the ring in his Stars and Stripes as well. It's a good pick, and I especially like the placement of it, so well done. Barry, your thoughts?
Yeah, another good choice there. I'm just actually taking notes of your matches there so I remember them for when I'm looking through mine. But no, it's agreed it was one of the better matches at WrestleMania that year. Good solid showing from Ronda Rousey in her opening match. Also, Kurt Angle back in the ring, as he says. Looked decent, but I suppose that was because it was a tag team match, I suppose, at the time. But we know how stiff he'd been in his return with us. But another good choice. And as I says earlier there, I like the way you're just not really messing about with the order, and it has to be to suit, the fans or whatever, to calm them down. So another good choice.
What is Kurt Angle stiffer than, Ricky?
Porn star's dick.
That always pops me.
Oh, brilliant. Right, so match number 3. I'm going to go with my US title match.
Now, good luck to you, because I'm still, I can't think of anything that's above an average US title match on pay-per-view.
Get ready for this.
I think I know where you're going.
This is where I win the hearts of someone like Josh. I'm going to go Vengeance 2003. Eddie Guerrero versus Chris Benoit.
Oh, fucking hell.
Two of arguably the top 5, 6 in-ring wrestlers of all time that you've ever seen in WWE. Obviously, I know we can't really talk about Benoit too much without bringing up, obviously, first and foremost, what he'd done. But if we just look at that match itself, that was the first, I think, was that not to crown the inaugural US champ? Because I'm certain SmackDown were running throughout the summertime or during that time in the build up to Vengeance, a tournament, and that was a final. And this is what I'm talking about, in-ring product, because I've long maintained you can give me the blandest character, but with the greatest in-ring wrestling ability. And I've always says who I'm talking about is basically Chris Benoit. But Eddie Guerrero is what you want in any professional wrestler. Charisma, great character, great on the mic, and just unbelievable wrestling ability. The match itself, like I said, is in my opinion, one of the absolute greatest US title matches of all time. I think it's right up there with anyone. And I think the beauty of some of the picks that I've made, especially this one, is it stands the test of time. This is every bit as good as anything you'll ever see. The in-ring quality was fantastic. Like I say, I've rewatched that match again, and I remember watching it, and I remember watching it a few times after, and I'm like, it really is flawless.
I'm going to have to be honest, I've got no recollection of this match whatsoever.
Well, that's not good. That is not good.
All I can remember.
I remember.
All I can remember for Vengeance that year was it Cena and Undertaker.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't know if that was maybe one of your quiz questions. Actually, it was very unique, the fact that they fought. That's what I was just about to say. That. I also believe the main event was something like Brock Lesnar.
It was cutting Brock in Show.
So it was
Triple Threat,
so.
and
That's
remember
that guy.
that Gowan and
Zach
McMahon. I don't
Gowan.
understand how you don't remember this pay-per-view.
It was a SmackDown only, wasn't it?
So,
Do you know what was unique about that year? Actually, I remember it. I bought all the pay-per-views for Royal Rumble through to Survivor Series or Armageddon that year. When they had that, used to be on Silver Vision, it was called, the DVDs. And because at the side of the DVD, it made a 2003 all the way down it, so that's why I bought them all to complete the collection. But
I think this was also the opening match of the card, and I don't think it's quite maybe Barrett and Owen, which disappointed me because I really wanted to get that on the card, but I was like, I can't. But it's right up there with any kind of opening match in my opinion. I thought it was like I said, from in-ring product and what I look for in wrestling, I just thought, do you know what, like, this is great. Like, this is just unbelievable. And like I say, the fact that it was built up over weeks and weeks based on the tournament, and it just happened to be two real-life best friends, just kind of added to it as well.
I'll definitely...
I can confirm it was the first match, actually. I just checked that now.
I'll need to check it out, but, I mean, on paper, you're looking at two of the best in-ring workers there's ever been. They've always had a chemistry with each other. When you think of the US title, you do think of Benoit and the sort of early to mid to a wee bit later noughties. So, but I've genuinely not got anything further to add apart from a wee funny story for you. That when Barry's talking about the 2003 pay-per-views there was many a night back in our younger, more energetic days, Barry, where we'd have a night out on the piss, end up back at yours, and there was one hungover morning where you were still asleep in your bed, and I thought, fuck it, I went through your wrestling DVDs and I found Armageddon 2003. So I was watching it, and the main event was Triple H, Kane and Goldberg, and it was like the best triple threat I'd ever seen.
That's it, it was brilliant, that much. That was a good pay-per-view as well, actually.
That's all.
Michaels and Kane fought, I think, that as well, randomly.
I've not got much else
but I
don't,
must be honest, I don't really remember that match, Guerrero and Benoit, but I do remember the pay-per-view, so I'll happily sit through that match again anyway.
Tasty stuff so far. And it's a nice variety as well.
I like it. Bit old school in there as well, which is good.
I think this is a portion of my pay-per-view where I kind of get two similar and a kind of similar matches back to back, because my final three matches I refuse to budge on them because I'm intending to go out with a fucking bang. First up, I'm going to go with my blood feud, and this is a match I think it's going to surprise people, but see, as soon as I say it, I don't think it's going to surprise people, especially you, Clive.
Okay.
I'm going to go Undertaker versus Mankind.
Another cell
and
match?
It's not the Hell in a Cell match.
Oh God, I wonder what it is.
Do you know what it is?
Boiler Room Brawl.
Boiler Room Brawl. Now, the two things that stand out for me for it is the fact it's a Boiler Room Brawl. Taker going into the match, like as he walked into Boiler Room, was so hesitant, and it was like, oh wow, even he's kind of like worried or like what is happening, where am I, what's going on? And he was walking about for a good couple of minutes before Mankind jumped him. But obviously the big thing about it was Paul Bearer turned on Taker, because he had to get out the Boiler Room to get into the ring to get the arm off Paul Bearer. Taker on his knee asking for it. Paul Bearer doesn't give it to him, and then he hits him with it, and then Mankind gets a mandible claw on him and takes it, and then cements the Paul Bearer heel turn. It isn't like it's not one of the great like hardcore or no DQ or whatever type matches. It isn't, but that's what I say at the start of it. It's a match for me that stuck out purely because at the time I was like, a Boiler Room Brawl, and then some of the stuff that happened in it. That's why it sticks out to me. Like I said, it's not one of the greatest matches by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a match that's always stuck out in my mind.
To this day, I've never seen that match.
Was that SummerSlam 98?
Was it 98? It was
98.
I'm sure it was I'm definitely sure
definitely
it was
SummerSlam.
Aye.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, sorry. It was definitely not 98 because that appeared recently. I'm sure that was the year Austin beat Undertaker, so I think you're right. I think it's about 96. But no, actually, as a wee guy at the time, I remember being very, very scared of that match, to be honest with you. I actually really enjoyed it as well. Yep. I don't think it would actually have popped up to appear on this list of 9, to be honest with you, but good choice, something different. Was there blood in it though?
96.
Was there actually blood in the match? Are you allowed to?
I would like to
think so.
The only reason I say is blood feud is the fact that, like what we spoke about, like a blood feud ends or has like where it's just like genuine, proper animosity and rage and just I want to kill you kind of thing.
Pure hatred. I mean, obviously,
yes.
If blood helps, if blood is there, that gets extra points on the old scorecard, if there is such a thing. But if it's one of those rivalries that's just so personal and it calls for nothing but some sort of gimmick match, then I'd count that as a blood feud. It's quite interesting that something like that would fit in quite well today with all these pre-recorded cinematic matches that you're getting at the moment. A Boiler Room Brawl part DOS is on the way soon.
Yep. Right, I'll move on. And I said, I'm confident in this match as well as the next three. And this is where I say it's kind of similar to the Boiler Room, so I'm going to go with my women's match. Initially, I was going to go Charlotte and Asuka from WrestleMania. Bearing in mind we can't do NXT. But I'm going to go Becky Lynch and Charlotte from Evolution.
Last women's.
And I know it's kind of like I understand there's like 3 hardcore matches on the card. But I think all 3. I know people won't agree with Boiler Room Brawl, but I think the tag match in this match specifically is like 2 great matches. And this match here, in my opinion, is the greatest women's match in WWE history. Not including NXT.
Right.
I can't not so like, because for me it's still Sasha and Bayley, I think. But main roster wise, I know a lot of people don't have much to compete against and whatnot, right? But I still think this is the greatest women's wrestling match of all time. And I don't like to quote the guy, we don't speak very highly of him, but I think Uncle Dave says the same. But fuck his opinion.
So this is the official greatest pay-per-views ever right here, so
that's it. So like I says, in fact, what makes it even more special is the fact that it was Evolution, the first ever women's pay-per-view. The finish to the match was excellent as well. I thought it was such a brutal, hard-hitting affair. Like I said, I was tempted to go Asuka Charlotte, but I changed it at the last minute and I went Becky Lynch and Charlotte. My only hesitation, like I say, was I've now got 3 kind of hardcore matches on the card, but I'm now about to enter the point where wrestling purists are going to be walking about stiffer than Kurt Angle.
I was going to try and do a Manscaped joke there, but I won't at the moment. But Barry, would you say this is the best women's match ever on the main roster?
Well, to be honest with you, there's probably a lot of new listeners there who aren't aware of who I am, and this will turn them off. I've never ever seen Evolution.
Oh.
I generally have never seen it. No. I remember at the time I never really planned on seeing it, but I was planned on seeing it a few months ago then, and never ever got around to doing it. So but I've heard great things about it, I've just never ever seen the event, so sorry about that, and sorry viewers out there who are turned off. Especially
in today's climate where it's all about equality and you're just saying, oh fuck it. I mean, you know what, does your daughter not watch wrestling?
She's been off it a bit, actually, to be fair. She's not really tuned in. I can't really blame her, to be honest with you, but not so much this year. Even before the coronavirus pandemic kicked in, before then she kind of went off it as well. So, but I think at that time she would have been right into it, so I'm surprised when I've actually sat down and watched it. Well, I've seen maybe clips of it, but I've never ever sat and watched a full match from it.
Well, you've got the summer holidays now, so a wee rainy morning, say, young Ian, let's put on some Evolution, and you can just watch Hunters Batista and Ric Flair promos.
See, to be fair, she actually preferred the male wrestlers to the women, actually. Well, first it was Becky Lynch and Sasha and Bayley, but then she started becoming a big fan of Braun Strowman and that. So
random.
Big scary guys like that.
I think if we're being honest, apart from maybe 3 or 4 before 2015, there's only about 5 years to choose from when it comes to best women's matches. Say what you want about their push, their place on the card, whether they're buried or not, but the 4 horsewomen, and slightly before it with the likes of Paige and AJ Lee, women's wrestling hasn't been this good. Sorry, this is the best it's been the last 5 years or so ever. So I think that sort of narrows down the selection pool. I did consider picking this one. I'm not sure if I'm going to say whether I have or not, but I think you've got a lot to choose from. Best one ever, possibly. it was a massive moment for Becky Lynch's sort of overall arc that was going on. It was a big exclamation mark on her push and rise to the top. The match itself was beautifully violent. Becky Lynch putting her body in the line with that top-notch leg drop from the top of a very tall ladder, it has to be said. Big massive powerbomb to Charlotte off the apron through the tables. It was a carnage match. I think one of the things that Becky's very good at is brawl matches. We've seen that with the TLCs, the Hell in a Cell that she had, and this last woman standing match. A good shout. I was just thinking off the top of my head, I don't know if I'm giving it away here, but see, for purist wrestling, I would say Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks is in with a shout.
So that was another one I considered. It was, but I just felt like Charlotte and Becky Lynch just had that. I felt like their peak was just slightly higher.
I'd say so. Like it was such an emphatic match. Even see Barry, if you don't watch Evolution, just watch this last woman standing match. It's quite spectacular.
I do remember hearing big things about it. To be honest, though, I was always more a fan of Charlotte and Sasha's matches. That was probably one of my choices, to be honest with you. I think
they were good.
I narrowed it down. I think the Hell in a Cell match is possibly one in the way for me, actually, for mine. So that's a wee sneaky preview for when it's my week. But I've not decided yet anyway, so...
that Charlotte Sasha stuff was magical.
It was. Shall I move on?
Go for it.
My Universal / World Heavyweight title match. Chris Jericho, HBK, No Mercy, 2008.
Oh, fucking hell.
We were talking about this recently, actually.
It was remember, was it at SummerSlam when Jericho hit Shawn Michaels' wife by accident? Or was it in Raw after, right?
That was something.
Yep. I know this could have also been tied in for a blood feud, but for me, that match alone just is one of the absolute very best Shawn Michaels and Jericho matches you'll see. Blown away by it. I thought even just ignore the build, and because it was a long ass build, like it went on for months. The match itself, I just thought, this was mind blowing, and actually text Clive the other day, and I was like, I actually don't have HBK on the card as yet, and I was really surprised at that. And I hadn't got to my world this secondary title as yet, and it was only when I started writing it down I had to think, and I was like, right, and then it dawned on me that this was actually for that title. So I get quite lucky in that sense, because if it was for the WWE title, I probably wouldn't have included that match. So kind of glad I managed to get HBK on the card.
Was this the ladder match?
Yes.
Right. I mentioned it to Clive recently as well. He said he didn't really remember being that into the feud at the time, but it lasted from April WrestleMania through October, so it was an incredible feud. It was stemmed from Ric Flair's retirement at Mania. Where Jericho just couldn't accept that he wasn't wrestling anymore. Batista as well, I think, had an issue with it. So, no, it was absolutely incredible. I think they had an unsanctioned match before that.
I think that was after the SummerSlam incident.
That was Unforgiven, and then I'm sure the following month was at No Mercy. Am I right in saying that the Jericho, when he hurt Michael's wife, that wasn't actually meant to happen? That wasn't even part of the storyline?
I can't remember.
I think the punch was supposed to happen, but it wasn't supposed to land. That connection was quite... that was El Cemento, that one.
I'm sure Jericho mentioned something about it.
Oh, he did.
Recently,
actually.
I mentioned... this came up again recently. That's how I mentioned that storyline to Clive. I'm sure it's mentioned it wasn't meant to happen, but whether that was him just being kayfabe or not, I don't know. We've done a good job at it anyway.
Yep.
I'm just...
Well, not punching his wife and
oh God almighty, man. I fucking get tore into her. Sorry, I'm just looking, Barry, at your perfectly coiffed hair, your headphones and your wee pen there. It's as if you're doing a sort of a work from home version of Gillette Soccer Saturday.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm actually doing that in the meantime while I'm doing this. This is I'm actually sitting on my working from home, actually. There you go. You can see this is where I work from home anyway, so I love my job that much, and I'm just sitting in my office again now.
Not suspect at all that you've got a box of Kleenex next to your computer at your house.
I've got what?
A box of Kleenex next to your PC.
What? Oh God, I was like, moved at me earlier.
Right. My favourite match on the card. Intercontinental title match. Ones that I considered: the triple threat with Finn, Seth, and Miz at WrestleMania. What was that, like 3 years ago or so?
I know, the same year as the Rousey one, no?
Yes.
Was it? Earlier. I think that one opened it, the triple threat.
Uh-huh.
That was considered
a belter of a match.
Yes. And this is going to sound so contradictory. It's unbelievable. WrestleMania 3, Randy Savage versus Steamboat. Randy Savage Steamboat is probably the greatest Intercontinental title match ever. And I'm going to say what I say about Jericho. And by the way, this isn't my pick.
I've just typed that down there.
I know, sorry. What I said about Eddie Guerrero, and I'm just telling you who I considered. Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit, how that stands the test of time, and so does this. Like, that match only lasted about 14, 15 minutes, at most 15 minutes. And it was just fucking unbelievable. Two absolute greats. And funny, like, Savage I've mentioned twice in my list of, I might actually put him on, I might not. But I decided not to go with it. And like I say, even though I think it probably is the greatest Intercontinental match of all time, so like I say, it contradicts what I'm about to say. But I had to get on my card my all-time favourite wrestler.
Of course you do.
So I'm going this one, and as great as Savage and Steamboat was, this one's right next to it, in my opinion. Right next to it. It's, there's nothing in it. Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect at SummerSlam 1991.
That was one of my options, I thought.
Like, in my opinion, I think Kurt Angle is like probably the greatest in-ring wrestler I've ever seen. Bret Hart is like 1B. Mr. Perfect, the name says it alone. I think for me, this was a moment where it probably solidified Mr. Perfect as like, oh, you're just fucking great. But it established, I think, Bret Hart is just an absolute star. Like I said, this match, two all-time greats, two in-ring great technicians. Just, like I said, my kind of wrestling, down to a T. In a match that if we saw it now, and this match was 19 years ago. If you saw that match this week for the first time ever, and it was a 2020, a match that took place in 2020, you would say this is still stands up against any match you see.
See, can I just interrupt? Can I just say something here? What you're saying about it would stand the test of time. I actually think that about the Steamboat and Savage match, because when you think, when you've got your nostalgia glasses on and you think back to the 80s, even the early 90s, you think it's just all about larger than life wrestlers and the whole sports entertainment stuff, cartoon glossy. But there was some damn good wrestling going on back then as well, that, as you say, stands the test of time. Pretty surprised you didn't go for a year later though, the SummerSlam the next year, but that's just my opinion.
I think nah.
Fair enough.
For me, I know it was just this monumental moment. I get it. But there's something about watching two absolute awesome in-ring technicians, and just like I said, Mr. Perfect was just, it's what like I said, perfect. Yeah, for me, no, I still think as great as Bulldog and Brett was, that one was still my favourite out of the two of them. And like I says, I would still say Savage and Steamboat is the greatest Intercontinental match of all time, and I probably should include it, but I had to get Bret Hart on the card. I can't sit and say he's like in one of the top two greatest of all time in ring.
Oh, aye.
And not put him on the card. And like I said, I think this still it tugs at the purists and people who look back fondly to the 90s and 80s and stuff. And it'll be like, no, that's a great fucking pick. Just to pat myself on the back.
Aye, I can hear you doing that.
Right.
Barry,
final match.
2 seconds. Ricky, have you got any thoughts on the controversial pick?
I do actually know it wasn't. I thought that was one of the better matches Intercontinental title wise. As I says, that was one of my choices as well. And now that you brought it up, Clive, that 92 one is actually winning away from my IC title one. So thanks for ruining my episode, man. I might not win it, but that was those 3 matches that have already been mentioned were up there, and that Bret Hart and Bulldog one was winning away. But no, that Bret and Perfect one, as you said, it was only, again, I think that was maybe only 15. No, I think that was actually quite a 20-minute match or something, that Bret and Mr. Perfect one. But I remember it being a proper old school wrestling where there was a lot of ground manoeuvres and a lot of submission, technical ability in that match.
18 minutes. And it's funny Barney says that, because that's why it's on the card, and that's why it is. And I know Savage and Steamboat is the exact same. Like, you know, like I said, it's splitting hairs.
I understand.
I think for me personally, it just, like I said, it's the 2 reasons I think probably pushed over. 3 reasons. In fact, first of all, it's Bret Hart. Second, I think it established Bret as a verge or becoming a superstar, and I think it just kind of established Mr. Perfect is one of the greats of his own era.
Fair enough.
Agreed.
Final match on the card. It is the WWE title. The one I was initially going to go with was from WrestleMania 8. Again, Savage. It was going to be Savage, Ric Flair. That was I was going to go with that, and I didn't. And to be honest, I think I've made the right decision, and I think you probably know where I'm going to go with this.
I'm still clueless.
Opinion, sorry?
I'm still not sure where you're going with this, bad boy.
In my opinion, John Cena's greatest ever match. In my opinion, probably CM Punk's greatest WWE match as well. Chicago, Money in the Bank. The only thing that was disappointing about it all was the fact that Punk returned 2 weeks later.
Yep. The aftermath, it was terrible.
Yes, that was fucking horrendous. Match itself, build up to the match, everything about it,
Brilliant.
Just a work of fucking art. And for me, that had to close the match, the pay-per-view. And again, I'm pretty confident and content with my actual full card itself, but especially those last sort of 3 matches, especially my last 2. Just great wrestling, great, especially that Money in the Bank one. Just historic levels of storytelling coming into it. Just Punk, like one of the hottest wrestlers you'll ever come across during that sort of that time frame. Cena was awesome as well. I mean, the end somewhat protected Cena, I guess, where he came out and Vince tried to do the whole Montreal screw job thing again, and Cena comes on out, smacks decks a ref and says to Vince, no, that's not how we're doing it that way, and then he goes in to the ring and immediately gets hit with the go to sleep, and I was a bit like, oh, you're kind of protecting him. So I mean, I'm really nitpicking, and I'm just but flawless match, and I think that without a doubt has to close the show.
Well, you know my thoughts on John Cena, you know my thoughts on CM Punk. I wasn't watching wrestling at the time. I have seen the match since. I can understand why that was picked. It's just not my cup of tea, but I do understand.
Yeah, but I think, and not to knock your opinion or anything, but I think you had to be there live and watching it all and being along for the journey. It's like the whole,
probably
like for instance, Daniel Bryan Yes Movement, yeah, we can look back on it and be like, oh wow, that was good. But you really had to be there to live it and experience it and watch it happen on a week-to-week basis, and just kind of for it building up each and every single week. And the Punk thing was just going through the roof week by week by week.
Agreed. Yep.
I think I've just picked my US title match as well, by the way, in case you're interested.
Aye, no, great choice. Two of the greatest of all time, in my opinion. Storytelling wise, everything, action in the ring, brilliant. Probably also one of the last times, and what was that, 9 years ago now, where I had no clue what was going to happen in wrestling. Like, as in, is this genuine? Is this not? I was so sucked in, it was unbelievable. And I thought that when Punk left the title, I thought, he is gone here. Like, it wasn't even a case of, he's coming back, I know this is part of the show. No. And I think still to this day they're saying that they generally didn't know up to that night. He hadn't signed a new contract up to that night, apparently. So
I think he'd done it on a night or something like that.
Aye, potentially. But yeah, I agreed. The aftermath of that was horrendous. They didn't handle that well at all. But
shambolic.
No, a great choice. Yep, absolutely. Surprised it's probably the main event, but yeah, excellent.
Here's the thing. So I could have gone Jericho and HBK as a main event. I personally think this is probably the best match on the card. The reason why it main events, and like I say all the time, your world title closes the show. The only time, I've said it time and time again, the only time you make exceptions to that rule is if Taker was retiring at WrestleMania, and rightfully Roman and Taker closed, because at the time we assumed Taker retired. But in the Royal Rumble match always closes. That I agree with that. I like that. But in every single other pay-per-view, unless it's a real significant history-changing match, the world title must close the show. Whether that's the women's world title or the men's, the world title must close the show.
Well, so I agree that the world title match the lineage WWE title should close the show. Barry, what are your thoughts? I'm going to run through the card just for the listeners. Well, I fucking lost the document. So, New Day versus Usos, Hell in a Cell to kick things off. Triple H and Stephanie versus Kurt and Ronda. Eddie Guerrero versus Christopher Benoit, US title match. Undertaker versus Mankind, Boiler Room Brawl. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte, Last Woman Standing. Heartbreak Kid versus Chris Jericho, ladder match, No Mercy 2008. Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfection. Is that why you like him? Because of the Perfect 10 gimmick?
Yeah.
And John Cena versus CM Punk. It's a strong showing, Ricky. But your chanting the odds throughout the last few days, saying your card's out of this world. We'll see about that, Sunshine. But Barry, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, before Barry gives his thoughts, just to retort to that, like, I've got Benoit and Guerrero on the card. I've got Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect on the card. I've got HBK, Jericho on the card. Punk and Cena on the card. That's 4 like legendary matches. Not to mention Becky Lynch and Charlotte probably takes it to 5. Like, I have 5 bona fide like all-time level matches right there. Now, I understand the Boiler Room Brawl probably might dampen people's opinions on the card, but hey, fuck you, it's my card.
Barry?
Aye, yeah. Solid showing, yep. 8 really good matches. Easy about 3 in there. That's 9 or 10s. Easy, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, obviously. Only match I've never seen, as I said, is Becky Lynch Charlotte. I was honest about it, I've never seen that one. No Stone Cold, no Rock though. That's the only thing I would say.
That's what I was going to say.
Maybe another couple others, but there's definitely a few in there that I've that's been potentially going to be my choices as well. But as I said, I've not decided the full card yet. I haven't through some matches, but probably they'll get changed about. It's already happened with a couple. So, no, definitely very impressive card from top to bottom. It'll be hard to top it, but I'm confident I can. So
to the Rock and Austin thing, right? So I never even thought about that when I was making the card. Like, it never dawned on me until you've said it. I think Rock and Austin, in-ring ability-wise, are criminally, like that part of their ring aspect, wrestling ability, is just criminally underrated. I don't think people talk about them as much. Like, we want to talk about ring psychology, ring IQ, like how to pace a match, etc., etc. Like, we understand that Austin himself says that, like, eventually had to kind of change their brawler gimmick because of the injuries and stuff. I think we always talk about, like, how great of an aura and, like, the mic work and the character. Like, we talk about all that, but what gets lost in shuffle is they were actually really good in the ring. Like, you know, let's not pretend that we're not. But I've got Punk, Jericho, HBK, Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Kurt Angle, all on this card. And for me, pound for pound, every one of those guys are like in that legendary in-ring talent. Like, I think, I don't think this is controversial if I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's night and day if you compare Rock and Austin to Bret Hart, in-ring ability.
In-ring ability, Austin The Rock had very limited moveset, so you could predict what was coming in their matches, whereas any of these other guys on this card here, maybe exception of Xena has, but well, to be fair, I'm going to include him in that. Any of these other guys, I'd say, could pull out something out the bag I've never seen before. Cena went through a period. Cena did do that. Cena did go through a period. Yeah, that's how I was correcting myself there. That's right.
That US Open Challenge period was just that 2-year run or that 2-year period where he was just putting on fucking banger after banger, like even on TV and stuff. I keep talking about it. He had these 2 back-to-back matches against Cesaro on Raw that were just fucking tremendous.
Dolph Ziggler as well. I think he was told. He must have been told then, look, your time's up soon, so enjoy it while it lasts. And he thought, here we go.
And then
every
obviously
match, he was having a match of the year every week.
Yep, that's it.
On Raws as well.
And then we got, in my opinion, the greatest debut of the last 10 years as well, during that John Cena US Challenge, Open Challenge.
Kevin Owens?
Yes.
All-time classic moment.
That was really
it's just what sticks in my mind all the time when I think about that moment is I would introduce myself, but you know exactly who I am, and I'm just like, you piece of shit, I fucking love you. You know. And I know Clive's moment is when he's standing on the US title with the NXT title in the air.
Oh, Barry, can you pass me those Kleenex, please? Just thinking about that. So that's the first pay-per-view in the bag. I'm going to do something a wee bit cheeky soon with regards to the quiz, which Ricky has. Yes, Ricky, you have sorted this quiz. I'm going to do a quiz shortly about the matches themselves. And that's what the quiz time's going to be this week. But first of all, I just want to give you a wee quick message about where you should go if you want to get your balls looking nice and tidy. Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. Their engineering team has spent 18 months perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created and just released a new and improved Lawnmower 3.0, and I will continue to call it Mower of Lawns on here to keep it wrestling. Their third generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce manscaping accidents. That's a lot of balls. Millions of balls are about to be nick free thanks to Manscaped's advanced skin safe technology. Manscaping accidents are going to be a thing of the past. This is premium gear, ladies and gents. The battery will last up to 90 minutes, so you can take a longer shave if you like to take your time, and don't know why you'd want to do that and what's wrong with you if you're going to take that long to shave your balls. But anyway, you can also have a wee groom in the shower because it's water resistant. If it's a wee bit dark in the shower, there's an LED light which illuminates grooming areas for a closer and more precise trimming. They've upgraded to a 7,000 revs per minute motor with quiet stroke technology. First time in the last few weeks that I've said that with a straight face. Let's not forget about the charging stand as well. You can show your mower off loud and proud to your friends, your mum, your gran, because this intelligently designed stand is a convenient charging dock powered by USB. If you're listening to this right now, I want you to experience it firsthand for yourself. Ladies and gents, not ladies, but I don't see why women can't use this stuff either if they want. Trim your pubic region, and if you want 20% off with this, plus free shipping, go to manscaped.com, put in the code SUPLEX at checkout, and if you do, your balls will thank you. And thank you for listening. Night. Right. Ricky, you want to do a wee quiz for us then?
It's fucking quiz time with Ricky and Clive and friends. A fucking WWE quiz.
Yes, by the way, did you tell me that the quiz should be related to the matches?
Oh, fuck. He's at it. He's at it.
I remember you saying that as well.
Did you actually say that?
It was mentioned in the chat. I remember saying.
Was it? I'm not going to lie. I must have missed that. I have got a quiz, and it's about Edge, but I genuinely missed that part about it being about the matches we've done.
Fair enough.
Right.
See before, Barry, I'd like you to a virtual handshake agreement with this one. How about the loser has to start next week, has to do their pay-per-view next week?
Aye.
Okay, is that a deal? Let's spit. Oh, shit, sorry.
On the face of people who like to be cool.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to hearing your pay-per-view next week, Brian. So,
so Barry, what's your buzzer?
You know, it's BAZ.
And mine is, oh, it's true, it's damn true.
I just want to say good luck to you both, and good luck to following this pay-per-view, because it's like following Taker HBK from WrestleMania. Good luck, guys. So, question number 1. What did Edge call his lifting DDT finisher? And it's multiple choices, by the way. Edge head, Edge of the World, or Education?
Oh, it's true, it's damn true.
Yes.
Education.
Correct. 1-0 to Clive. Question number 2. Alongside Edge and Christian, who were the other 2 members of Team Wreck? So we got Ric Flair and Kane, Rhino and Kurt Angle, or Dustin Runnels and Kat.
What a shite group that would have been if it was those 2. Oh, it's true, it's damn true.
Yes.
Kinky Kurt and Randy Rhino.
Correct. 2-0 to Clive.
You better get your pen and paper ready, Barry, for next week, fella.
Question number 3. Who ended Edge and Christian's first reign as tag team champions? The 2-man power trip, Brothers of Destruction, or Too Cool?
It's BAZ.
Yes.
It was Too Cool.
Correct. It's 2-1. Question number 4. Rated RKO was formed as a response to which team? Vince and Shane, DX, or the Spirit Squad?
Oh, it's true, it's damn true.
Yes.
DX.
And that answer is correct. Question number 5. Who partnered Edge and Kurt Hawkins throughout the majority of 2008? Mark Jindrak, Chris Jericho, or Zack Ryder?
It's BAZ.
Yes.
Zack Ryder.
Correct, it's 3-2.
Pentagon face. Shout out to Rob Ropes.
10, so we've got 5 to go.
Good.
How many times did Edge and Undertaker go one-on-one in pay-per-views in 2008? I feel like we've spoken about this before.
It was Batista who did this.
Oh, was it right? Sorry. So 4, 5, or 6?
Oh, Christ, right.
Oh, you're fucking it.
Mania, Backlash. Oh, it's true, it's damn true.
Yep.
4.
Incorrect.
Fuck you, mate.
Oh. Well, it was also 6, 5 or 6, was it?
5 and 6.
Something's telling me they must have fought, and no, it wasn't just singles matches. They must have come across each other.
But this question is single matches.
Is it singles?
Only. Singles only.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
You mean altogether, or just that 2008 run?
Just that throughout 2008.
Remember that TLC match they had?
Yes.
That's the first one I fought. So they must have fought. And
I think we used that clip in one of the episodes on you go, Barry.
5.
Yeah, that's correct. It's correct. It's 3 each.
Oh, fuck's sake. Eh? Think you are some kind of art-rated superstar. I mean, no, that's wrong, isn't it?
In 2009, No Way Out 2009, which world title did Edge lose, and which one did he win?
Oh, it's true, it's damn true.
Yes.
He lost the WWE and took Kofi Kingston's place in the Chamber to win the world title match.
It is 4-3 to Clive now. Question number 8. Who was his last, what was his last match before he announced his retirement? Was it Jack Swagger, Randall Orton, or Alberto Del Rio?
It's BAC.
Yes.
Alberto Del Rio.
Correct.
So I would have answered, but I was laughing at the Randall Orton part.
Question number 3. At the 2010...
Question number 3,
8. Question number...
4
Question 3. Question 9. At which number, at the 2010 Royal Rumble, which number did he enter at? 19, 26 or 29?
Oh,
now you've just thrown a spanner in the works there.
It's BAZ.
Yes.
29.
Correct. Clive, get your pen ready for next week, maybe?
No, I'll be getting my hashtag Google Docs ready for next week. Panicking here.
Question number 10.
Panicking Skywalker.
Which number did he enter the 2020 Royal Rumble?
Oh, it's true, it's damn
21.
true.
Sorry? Right, there you go.
I've just panicked there. 21.
Correct.
Did you buzz in before the options even?
I've got a bad habit of buzzing in when I don't hear the full question when it comes to Edge.
All right, okay.
This is it.
The
bonus question.
It's me, BA.
Christian.
This one, I'm not going to give you any choices.
Oh,
good.
How many?
I like that before.
Right, so just buzz in. How many Money in the Bank matches has he won? Money in the Bank ladder matches has he won?
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Oh, I'd say just Clive.
Oh God.
Just Clive, I think.
The answer is Uno 1.
Correct. Yes. Good quiz, guys. That was good.
That was good. Enjoyed that.
That was hotly contested.
Oh well, Barry next week.
Better get some serious work done or pick up some mysterious cold.
So you've not got a cold just now, so that
that
does tell you why the Kleenex is at your table then.
What was that?
So you haven't got the cold this week, so that gives more reason for why the Kleenex is at your table.
Hay fever.
What a practiced answer. I hope you've enjoyed this week, ladies and gents. The first of a 3-parter where we all give our versions of the best historic pay-per-view ever, compiling all the matches that we favour and all that shit. You know it by now. Remember, if you want involved in the poll at the end of week 3, please retweet and like this episode on Twitter for your chance to be automatically tagged in the poll. We are the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. What? That's right. On the social... Fuck's sake, man. On the Social Suplex Podcast Network, where you can find other shows such as Grown Men Watch This Shit, All Things Elite, keeping it strong style. One Nation Radio and get in the ring. No clue why.
Are you going to say kicking it strong style?
Aye.
Sorry, Jeremy. Sorry, Josh.
Oh, I'm having
vote for Ricky, guys. A vote for Ricky is a vote for the good guy.
Ricky Ramone. Bad? No, that's wrong. Oh, can you do this plug, please?
I think you've just about done it. Please follow us on Twitter at Ricky and Clive. You can also join the wrestling group on Facebook, which is called the Wrestling Square Circle. Absolutely butchered this. You can also get your very own Ricky and Clive wrestling t-shirt along with a couple other ones from Pro Wrestling Tees. And this is Barry will be back on next week to give his pay-per-view, and Clive will do his the following week. Barry, you want to give them your Twitter details?
Same as last week. That's at BazD86 if anyone wants to follow. If anyone wants to start voting for mine just now, I can promise you I'll reward you with the most exciting pay-per-view you'll ever heard in your life, so get voting. But no, pleasure for being here again, guys, and hope to hear you all next week. At that point I'll be enjoying a 2-week vacation from work, as I was supposed to be away in the summer this year, but obviously nobody's going anywhere, so I've decided to keep the holidays, and I'm off for a total of 19 days, so I might be bottled next week when you see me.
That's actually
no might about it.
That's the exact same 2 weeks I've got off as well, so
exciting.
Don't forget, ladies and gents, you can also donate directly to the show by pressing the link in the podcast show notes, and there's the socialsuplex.com where you can get these podcasts and the columns sent directly to your email inbox by clicking the subscribe button. And last but certainly not least, 20% off the best ball trimmer around it with manscaped.com if you put in Suplex as a promo code at checkout. That may be the worst plug that's ever happened on this show.
Yep. I just want to add one more thing. See, if people don't vote for me, I'm done with the podcast.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Get fucking voting for your favourite Asian.
Oh, so you mean Muhammad Hassan?
My brother. Still falling from that last night.
Aye, it's actually
Still plummeting.
with the Great American Bash on NXT tonight. It's actually been 15 years since the Great American Bash, where Muhammad Hassan continues to fall to this day.
He might appear tonight.
Imagine that, it just popped up on the stage.
And then started falling again.
If you don't vote for me, I will. If I don't win the pay-per-view thing, I'm going to just put a whole episode out of shite wrestling jokes.
The thing is, though, there's a market for that. There's certain people that love that kind of stuff.
Do you mean there's a market, or there are marks for it?
Both. There's a market for it and there's marks. Paul loves it. Totally loves it. Mags, not a fan. I feel like you've probably got Sam and Imp on board.
Do you know what? I think I'll put that behind a paywall, to be honest with you. I think that content should be charged £50.
I'll probably the same as Barry. We'll probably have a cold that day.
And what I'll do is I'm going to do a greatest wrestling match ever and pipe in some audience laughing at me when it's just me moaning and stuff like that, like canned laughter.
Canned laughter, aye.
And some holy shit chants as well. Right, thanks for listening, ladies and gents. Enjoy Fighter Fest and enjoy the Great American Bash. We shall speak to you next week. Good night.
Take care, folks.
Good night, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you next time.